Okay, so here we have a question that will require the double chain rule. So we have f of g of h of x. So taking y prime of this, we're going to have f prime of g of h times g prime of h times h prime of x. So let's get started by finding our innermost function, which in this case will be just the x squared plus 4. Great. So basically for g of x, our g of x, which is x squared plus 4, just becomes an x, right? So we have our, actually let me change the color. There we go. Here is our g of x, which in this case is just, now h of x is just an x, right, for the g of x. X cubed plus 3. Great. Now what about f of x? F of x would be just the square root. And g of x becomes an x, so we have the square root of x, which can be rewritten as x to the power of half. Fantastic. Now, let's look for, or actually let's try to find f prime of g of h. To do that, I will just find f prime of x. F prime of x would be just half x to the negative half. We just bring down the exponent and then subtract 1 from it. And this can be rewritten as 1 over 2 root x. Great. Now, so we have 1 over 2 times the square root of x, but our x becomes g of h of x, which of course is just this whole thing right here. So we have x squared plus 4 cubed plus 3 times, and of course this little guy here, the x squared plus 4, is just h of x. I didn't change the color for that one. I'll leave it like that. Now times g prime of h. And what is g prime of x? Let's find g prime. And I meant to have blue here. G prime of x. Well, g of x is just x cubed plus 3. So g prime will be 3x squared. We bring down the 3, subtract 1 from the exponent. And the derivative of 3 is just 0. So we have 3x squared. But instead of the x, we're going to replace the x for h of x, which is x squared plus 4. Times h prime of x, and the derivative of this guy, of x squared plus 4, is just 2x. Again, we just bring down the exponent, subtract 1 from the exponent, and the derivative of 4 is just 0, so we don't do anything about that. Great. Now let's just simplify things a little bit. The 2's can cancel out. I can bring the 3 over on top here because it's multiplying the 1. So we have 3x squared plus 4 squared over the square root. Try to make this straighter. X squared plus 4 cubed plus 3. And that's it. That is the derivative of our original function.